Hello, welcome to Kate's Egg. Today I'm in Ontario, Canada with Brian of Lennox Farms once again, which is so exciting. And I'm going to be seeing rhubarb harvest today.
Yep.
So thank you.
Thanks for having us. Might get you a t-shirt, you'll be part of the family here.
Oh, well, I can't wait. And I've also filmed Brussels sprout harvest and forced rhubarb harvest here, which is just incredible. So I'm very interested to see how you grow rhubarb in the field.
Yep, you're getting near the end of the season here. It's the end of June, but there's still a lot of nice rhubarb here. Just have to watch for the odd yellow leaf because that means it's starting to go down. So we might have another week of harvest in these fields and then on to the next thing.
And what variety of rhubarb is this?
This is German wine. It's a red variety. It's a nice red stalk. We do have a green variety that we use for the forcing in the wintertime, and we do pick some of it, but we prefer to pick the red for the summer varieties.
That's awesome. And do you sell most of your rhubarb in your farm store, or where would your rhubarb be going?
We sell quite a bit there. We actually sell our we actually dice it up and wash it, and that's what we sell most in our store because it's what people want. It's fresh, ready to use. This stuff here we'll trim the leaf off nice, and it'll go to grocery stores and other farm markets in Ontario.
And how do you grade your rhubarb?
Basically just want to make sure it has no marks on it. It's nice and straight. Depending on the pack we're doing, we do a pack that we bunch at 1 pound and put it in a sleeve. So that one you want to make sure it's nice and straight because it won't go through the machine. Put the wrap around it. But yeah, you just want to make sure it's nice and firm and no marks on it. So.
That's incredible. And what type of soil is best to grow rhubarb?
It grows in many different soils. It depends on the varieties. The varieties we grow, especially this German wine, prefers our silt loam that we have here. There's another red variety that prefers the sandier soil. So it just depends where you are, what variety grows best for you.
What rain would you say is required?
Oh, it could handle 2-3 inches a week, rhubarb. It just loves rain. So
really?
It doesn't like to be wet all the time, so you want to keep it on a drier area. But it'll take whatever you can throw at it for rain. So.
Wow, and do you do any irrigated?
We don't have irrigation on our farm, so it depends just on rainwater.
What is so cool about this rhubarb is how big the leaves are. It's so different from the inside forced rhubarb.
Yeah, because it's getting that photosynthesis, the leaf grows large, and it's also what causes the rhubarb to be more tart. So it has that acid from the leaf that comes up the stalk, and that's what makes the rhubarb tart. Whereas the winter rhubarb, not getting the photosynthesis, is less tart.
Does your fresh rhubarb go to restaurants or to Toronto at all?
Yeah, we ship into restaurants. We have a stall down in the Ontario Food Terminal. We've had that for 70 years now. So we sell direct to consumer, like small mom and pop grocery stores, restaurants, other farm markets.
That's very cool because you can't get fresher than this.
No, you can't. This will be on the truck tonight, going down for tomorrow. So.
Wow, I just love rhubarb. What's the main difference between forced and your normal rhubarb that you'd grow out in your field?
So forced, like I said, doesn't get that light because it's grown in the dark, so it is less tart, it's less stringy. It will be a slightly thinner stalk. Just you use half the sugar because it is less tart. It's just it has that rhubarb flavor without the sourness, you know.
And how much rhubarb do you grow on your farm?
We have close to 90 acres of roots. We harvest roughly 20 to 25 acres of the red, and to do the forced rhubarb it takes about 4 to 5 acres of rootstock to bring into the sheds, and then the rest is just we like to leave a patch every now and then to get it good and strong for the next year's harvest. So we'll leave 20 acres of red for next year, and then we have about 30 or 40 acres of rootstock ahead just in case we need the roots for something.
That's really interesting. So how many harvests would you get out of one planting of rhubarb?
These fields here are probably close to 12 years old, and they would have been harvested about 8 or 9 times over those 12 years.
So they last quite a long time.
Yeah, if you take care of it, you gotta make sure you keep the weeds out and everything, and fertilize. It does require some fertilizer.
Wow, I bet weeding would be very labor intensive. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, it's hard the first year. After you get the rhubarb established, the leaves will kind of crowd out the weeds and take care of themselves, but that first year you really have to stay on top of it.
Is there any fertilizing that you have to do, or way you keep the soil in good health for the rhubarb?
Yeah, we do a lot of cover cropping. So before we'll plant, it'll probably have 2 or 3 years of grain and cover crop rotation to get that soil good and healthy. And then we do use a fertilizer to help get the plant started. And then every year we harvest. In April we'll put down some fertilizer to get it going, and then depending on the year, we'll probably top dress in early July just to give it a little help to get through the summer.
And do you ever leave part of your rhubarb stalks behind to keep the plant going?
As you can see, we've just finished harvesting here, so we don't like to take everything. We will probably take 70% of the crown, and we'll leave 20 or 30% to grow back and put energy into the root for next year.
That's very interesting because you can't completely deplete the plant.
That's right.
Of its nutrients.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want to take everything, otherwise, you might only get 3 or 4 years out of a planting and you'll destroy it. So,
would Ontario be one of the biggest rhubarb producers in Canada?
I believe we're probably one of the largest in North America. We're definitely the largest in Canada, growing 90 acres. There are a few growers in Michigan State and Washington State that do grow quite a bit as well. So we're definitely one of the top 5 in North America.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Do you export any of your rhubarb?
Yeah, we do send some down to the eastern seaboards, New York and Chicago and stuff. Philadelphia gets a little bit, especially the winter stuff. They want to get that too, but we don't have enough of it, so it mostly stays in Ontario. So,
when do you plant a new rhubarb crop if you're replacing a field? Or starting a new one?
Yeah, so with our red rhubarb, we could get away with planting every 2 to 3 years. We'll put a small planting in, 3 or 4 acres. The green rhubarb that we use to force, every year we'll have to plant 4 to 5 acres because that's what we bring out of the field into the sheds every fall. So after you forced it, the roots are garbage. So you always have to replace it every year. So every year we're putting in 5 to 10 acres of rhubarb, which is roughly 30 to 50,000 plants.
Wow, and how much would you be able to harvest per day?
We've been averaging over 6,000 pounds a day since the middle of May outside. Inside's a different ball game. It's just you pick to the certain height. So most days you'd get 1,500, 2,000 pounds, but you'll get more pickings. Whereas this will go through once. The indoor rhubarb will go through about 6 or 7 times.
Now I'm going to try picking rhubarb. Kind of twist.
Slide your hand down the stalk and twist and pull.
Oh wow, this is
a bit tougher because we've had no rain, so if it's moister, it's easier to pick.
Wow, this is super cool. So probably this one as well. Amazing. Well, this is very fun. I could do this all day long.
Well, we could use you.
And the thinner rhubarb stalks you would just leave here?
Yeah, we would leave the thinner ones to grow to help feed the root for next year.
And do you also look at how green the rhubarb stalk is?
Well, yeah, we want the nice red ones for this red variety. As it gets older, you'll see some scarring on the outside, so that one there, you try to avoid picking altogether if you could. You see it, but you're getting the good stuff there, so that's great.
This is fantastic rhubarb. And rhubarb is so delicious in pies too.
It is.
That's my favorite. So the rhubarb is taken from the field and the leaves are cut off and then onto your tractor,
yep.
Which it's then taken to your warehouse and graded?
Yep, yeah, we'll harvest in the morning while it's cooler, and then we'll pack in the afternoon in the shed while it's warmer outside. So today we're doing, we process, so today we're doing some processing rhubarb, which means we'll cut the top and bottom off, and we're also packing for 10 pounders, which means we'll just leave a little bit of leaf on. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I believe that's what they're cutting right now.
So this is just like gardening, but on a larger scale?
I guess so. I guess you could call it that.
Much larger scale.
Much larger scale, yeah. Farmers don't have gardens, we have big fields.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now I'm here with Rajan again from Brussels Sprout Harvest, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your interview.
Yes,
Do you enjoy rhubarb harvest as well?
always. Good harvest are good. Well, the process is here. You guys don't pick it here. Bring it over here. We cut on the leaves. Or are you doing dicing? We cut the both side. Like stick. We're doing the stick rhubarb, like for boxing and 1 pound. We cut off the leaves like this. So that's the process in rhubarb. They will go carry to the packing house, packing in bunches, or boxes or bags, and we do dicing also.
That's great. And how long have you been involved in rhubarb harvest for?
About 17 years.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, it just looks great. Thank you for the interview again. It was great speaking with you.
Thanks very much.
I'm now here with Sean, and you're also involved in rhubarb harvest. Is this your favorite harvest?
Oh yes, it is. This is one of my favorites.
That's incredible. And how long have you been harvesting rhubarb for?
8 years.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yes.
What would be your favorite aspect? Grading or picking out in the field?
Everything.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Everything. Yeah. It's all part of the job. So so it's okay. We have fun. Do what we're supposed to do. So it's
Definitely.
nice. It's nice.
That's amazing. And could you show me how you pick rhubarb?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. So go down here. I bend your back and go down and get closer to the bottom as possible, and twist. Come off just quite easy.
Wow, that was fast.
Oh yeah.
And what grade would this rhubarb be?
This would be like a 2 because it's kind of curvy.
Not quite perfect?
No.
Most of these would be grade 1 though,
Oh
right?
yes. Most of these are.
Yes, it's delicious rhubarb. Do you also love having rhubarb in pies?
Oh yes, we do. We make them from time to time. It's okay.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
There are a lot of rhubarb leaves.
Yeah, they rot down pretty quick though, so a few weeks they'll be gone. That's about the only thing we don't use on the rhubarb plant. When we're pressing, once we're grading, you grade out the stuff that doesn't make grade for boxes. We'll use it for processing, so that gets rid of the garbage there, no waste. And if we send the rhubarb out to be juiced, we actually get the pulp back from the press plant, and we dry it and we make a flour out of it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we really have no waste with the rhubarb. It's quite neat how we can do that.
That is neat.
Yeah, it's just the leaves are the only thing, but they'll feed the ground a little bit too, so it's not a bad thing.
Oh, that is good.
Yep.
So they provide nutrients back into the soil.
Yep, yeah, there's still nutrients in there.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you learned a little bit about how your rhubarb gets to your table. I know I sure did. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to learn more about Lennox Farms or even purchase some of their rhubarb, you can visit
lennoxfarm.ca, and everything's listed there. We have an online store, lots of information about the crops we grow, and our email's there if you want to drop a line. We can answer your questions for you as well.
That's great. And if you're in Ontario looking at the gorgeous rhubarb in the store, just know it's Lennox Farms.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
See ya.